London. Let's talk London.
So to be, and like maybe I should wait until everyone's here to talk this through, but just so you know, I don't have anything, I have nothing as far as
Yeah, I don't foresee that we're going anywhere in the fall. I really don't. London is in about the same shape as the US, I think. They've not been as successful as other European countries in containing it. Their restrictions are a little bit different, but they're still pretty strong. So I think we have to do some rethinking. Maybe we think about spring. Maybe we think about, and this is something we had talked about, not doing an entire semester, but then figuring out what part of a semester would be best. We thought about splitting between London and another location so that we could take more students.
Right.
So those are some of the options that we've thrown around.
And it looks like I've got some students that are trying to get logged in too. So let me send this.
Jillian.
Yeah, Jillian's on here. Hi. And yeah, I've got a bunch that are trying to get logged in. So what do you think, Jillian? What do you want to do? Besides obviously that you want to live in London for a full fall semester. What else do you think would be good opportunities for you?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, I want to be safe. So if we can't go in the fall, and that's something, I would still like the opportunity to kind of, I don't know, maybe find a way to take the classes that would be offered there, if that's at all possible. So like I know earlier you had mentioned something really briefly about Virtual Globe. So if that's a possibility, that would be cool if we can't go.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's definitely interesting to maybe split split the time like Laura was talking about. So I don't know. I'm kind of just open to anything at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we talk virtual, which I'm a huge fan of, because again, I know that it's not living in London, right? And that totally blows. But you guys are already sitting here staring at your computer screens all day, probably doing the majority of your classes in some sort of hybrid or online format. And so why not do it with people at the Globe? Why not? If you're going to be staring at your computer screen anyways, why not do it with people that are living in London? It may not be the real thing, but it's the next best thing, I think. And it's still something that you can use to put on your resume. It's still going to be a great experience for you guys to get those new connections and interactions with people in London. So I hope that fall travel is a thing that happens, but I think it's more realistic, like Dean Ledford said, to either envision just an entire virtual program or something that's like for the first 8 weeks you guys are doing online, and then maybe the second 8 weeks you're traveling to London or something like that. For those of you guys that are just logging in, please share your input. We're just talking about options for fall. There is nothing set in stone about what's going to happen with London for fall. And we just really want the students' input about what they think would be valuable for their experience, and so that you guys can still get those courses that you have been wanting to take.
I will say I do know the Globe is more than happy to accommodate virtual courses. That's how they're sort of getting through all of this. So we might be able to set up something there. It's not going to be, of course, as hands-on. It's going to
Right.
be like I would imagine, like whatever performance courses you may be taking here that are hybrid or online, the online portions. We may be able to hire Daniel to teach a dramatic lit course and a contemporary drama course. But of course, yeah, the real appeal of London is going to the theater and being in the city.
Right.
And so we just have to figure out either a way that we can make that happen for maybe a shortened period of time, or maybe in the spring. And yeah, find out more of what your thinking is, because there are a lot of options, and it's gonna, of course, if you are here but taking London courses, there would still be a fee attached, because we would have to hire, additional instructors, and we'd have to pay our partners there. So there would be that. And I'm certainly not trying to talk you out of that. I'm just saying that's what it would mean. But of course, it won't be as high as if you were actually on the ground in London.
Right. It'll definitely. So, were you gonna say something, Athena?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say,
We can't hear you, Athena.
oh, I'm a senior.
No, we can't hear you.
You're just far away. You sound far away.
Sorry, can you hear me a little better now?
A little bit, yeah, but not great.
Sorry, I'll try to speak up. But
Okay.
I 100% recommend Daniel. Like, Daniel is the theater history and contemporary drama. Anyway,
In performance, yeah.
yeah. And he's on.
Okay.
Yes, awesome. Thank you, Athena. So kind of like Dean Ledford was saying, there still would, of course, be a program fee attached to this virtual London experience if we decide to go that route. But the good news also is that I talked with Alumni and Development, the Gilman Foundation, Diversity Abroad, all of those scholarships that you guys were eligible for as far as an in-person experience, you're still eligible for the same scholarship funding for a virtual experience. So you're, in addition to not having to pay for a flight or your housing or anything like that, you can also still get scholarship funding to help pay that program cost. So if you guys think it would be worthwhile to do a Globe, virtual something, a class or something like that, I think that you could apply for that scholarship funding to help cover some of those costs. What are you guys thinking? Tell me, talk to me. Let's talk about it. Taylor.
So I have kind of like two questions. One, is there like any chance that we like would be able to go to London and like not even necessarily have the full experience, but like possibly like have to wear masks all the time, like may not be able to go out in public as much? Because I know, like, I feel like if we can't like do all that stuff, like I guess flying to London probably wouldn't be an option either. But like I know they're saying like normalcy is not going to be to like the middle of 2020 or 2021 or the end of 2021.
Yeah, I don't think anyone knows anything. I'm going to be quite honest. And I think that I'm holding out hope that there is going to be a possibility for you guys to travel. But I don't think it will be a full semester long type of experience because things are just changing so quickly. Right now you can't, actually, is the UK the only place you can enter? Right now, as a US citizen, the UK is a place that you can enter into, but you can't leave it. You can't travel anywhere in the EU right now at all. And you're just going to, it's just not an experience you want to have, honestly.
And the State Department is saying, don't go unless you absolutely have to.
Yeah, and so hopefully that will change by fall, and we're keeping a close eye on it. I do want to say that there's a possibility. Like, I have not given up hope that you
It's
guys.
a year away,
Yeah, exactly. But I do want to have a better alternative if we do end up canceling again. I want to be able to say, okay, fall London's not happening, but let's do this instead. And you guys have a valuable option if physically going to London isn't going to be an option.
And again, our chances may be better to do more travel if we wait till spring.
True. And that's the other thing. And I need you guys to tell me, you know, what do you think as far as that travel, us doing a spring semester? Is that the semester that you guys graduate if we did spring of 22? So
Yeah.
it could be like a senior trip capstone type of thing that you guys could do. But then you're spending your last semester at Millikan abroad, which I know some students don't like doing as much. But we could do summer, we could do January. There are options. What else are you guys thinking? I saw Bridget, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, I guess. Well, I came into the conversation late, so I thought that you were just like, no more. We're done. And I was like, whoa. So just to clarify, like, if all is well and good next year, then it will be happening. But if it's not, we just want to be prepared.
Correct.
Okay,
So
cool.
nothing's been canceled for fall.
But nothing has been confirmed either.
Yeah,
Because right now everything is closed. You know, we couldn't
Right.
we couldn't put you guys on a plane and get you there, even if we wanted to, even if we were just like, do it and like wanted to. You can't get in. You
Yeah.
can get in, but you can't do anything. It just wouldn't be a good experience.
Mhm.
So it hasn't been decided. There is hope on the horizon. You know, countries are opening up and they're starting to allow visitors in, but largely those visitors aren't being coming from the United States, unfortunately, because of the situation here hasn't necessarily been handled great. So that's really slowing our ability to travel down. And I don't know about you, Laura, but I know I'm going crazy not being able to travel as much. And so, yeah, I feel your guys' pain. I really do. So we're not feeling great about virtual study abroad is my sense that I'm getting from you guys. That you would much prefer to have an in-person experience. Yes, Taylor.
I guess another concern I have is like, I don't want to say I'm completely opposed to the idea to the virtual study abroad, but for me, especially in the major we're in, to me, it makes a lot more sense if I can be on Millikan campus to be taking the classes there. And like for me, like I've decided to do online this semester, and like I've like feel like I've had a lot of challenges like doing that. So I guess it's not like not wanting to work with the Globe. It's the like if I have to like choose between being in person somewhere or being like online, like for me, like learning wise and stuff like that, I feel like in person would be better for me. And I also have like the concern of like I've been avoiding a lot of classes because the plan is to cover those credits in London. So if I guess just like because the situation is so ambiguous right now, I don't know if I should plan to take some of those classes next semester and just or not, like, you know what I mean? Like I've been avoiding a lot of credits specifically because like Tom, my advisor, and I have talked about how we're gonna take them in London, and now I'm like, it's so like up in the air. Like, should I be like planning to take those? Should I not? Like, you know what I mean?
I totally get that. But I think one thing that may be helpful is that Dr. O, who was going to teach your London courses, she's here, you know, she's at Millikan. So you guys could do like half Millikan in-person courses with a Millikan professor, and then half with Daniel and the Globe, which would be virtual, but that you're still getting the same credits that you would need, and you're still having some in-person interaction and not just online only. So that was my thought behind it. If we did do something like that, so that if you guys start registering, so when advising day comes next April and you guys are thinking, what classes am I going to take for fall? Whether we actually go to London or not, it's not going to change the courses that you're taking, if that makes sense. Because I mean, otherwise, like there's a million possibilities, and you guys, it would just be impossible for you guys to navigate that, all that, like you said, it's ambiguous. So it's like, what do I do? How do I do this? So I think that that's how we would
Yeah, I think you can still plan to take the equivalent of those London courses, even if you're on campus.
Yeah.
Through hiring Daniel, or through Tom adding a section of theater history, or through Dr. O teaching the classes that she had planned to teach in London. So I think that you can still plan on those courses being offered.
It's really just kind of like a contingency plan, I guess, that, and if you guys didn't want to do it, obviously, then you could be like, no, I'm going to pull out and change my classes or whatever, if we did decide to actually cancel the in-person part of London.
Does that make sense, Taylor? Sort of.
Yes, yeah, it does, yeah.
Clear as mud. What were you going to say, Audrey?
Hi. I think personally going the spring of my senior year would really suck. Only because I feel like, especially for theater, it's the time that you do like showcases and things like that. So it would be really hard to try to navigate that. But I would totally be down like the summer after we graduate. Maybe if we do like a month or something, I would totally be down with that. I'm not mad
What
at
about January?
Yeah, I'm not mad at that either. I just don't want to be gone during the semester that I have to be preparing for like real life. You know, that kind of scares me. I'm not opposed to the virtual either, but if the option is either like January or virtual fall, I would rather do the January immersion. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because we could do virtual fall with a January travel component.
Yeah,
I like that.
Because obviously the idea is to get you guys to London, of course, and for you guys to have that experience. So as soon as I can safely send you there, like, we're gonna do it. It's just a matter of
what we do in preparation for that, because you want to be able to hit the ground running when you get there, since it will be a shortened time frame. And January would actually be better for that than summer, because the theater kind of, you know, fizzles out in the summer.
Yeah.
And if the theaters are open, you certainly want to be there when the theaters are open.
Yeah. I'm actually going to write that down, that we could maybe explore virtual fall. Is the Globe open right now, or are they still doing?
They're doing everything online right now. They did say they were going to start to do some socially distant performances, I believe, in October.
So that's
yeah, and some of the West End theaters are doing the same. The National is doing the same. So people are slowly trying to kind of ease their way back into socially distanced performances. The Olivier at the National Theatre has actually sort of redesigned the theater space so it is permanently in the round now, or not permanently, but for the foreseeable future in the round, so that they can accommodate distancing. So they're all desperate to open up, as you can understand, just like Broadway.
Yeah. What other questions or input do you guys have? How are we feeling about this? We've got about 10 more minutes. So if you guys want to talk more, have more questions.
And if you've heard any vibes from your friends that may be talking about it too.
And start the conversation with your friends. If you know of people that are going to London, please give them this update. You know, nothing has been canceled, but it's your guys' program and you guys are paying for it, and we want you guys to get value and your money's worth. So tell us what you want to happen and what you think would be a good experience. But what were you going to say, Audrey?
As far as scholarships are concerned, does it just like reset? So if you already applied, you have to apply again, or how does that work? Because I don't think I made it in time to apply for the scholarships, but I want to. So
yeah. So for fall, if you're planning to travel in fall, then your fellowship for our office would be due in March, the first Friday of March. So you can totally reapply. There's a Gilman Foundation scholarship that is up to $5,000. If you guys know Funke, she got it this semester, which is amazing. She's like the first Millikan student since I've been here that has gotten that scholarship. So go apply for it. I think it's due though in January. So depending on those, and I can resend those links out. I know I sent you guys a bunch of that stuff last year, but it's probably long ago in your email. I'll send out more of those scholarship information. And did I mention this already? I think I did. That the scholarships they do qualify also for virtual study abroad. So
That's so cool. That's great.
I know. Because I really think that no one expected, when we canceled London for fall, we never expected that this would be going on this long, So now that these border situations are remaining closed and there's all these travel restrictions, it's really more important than ever for you guys to keep trying to have these global experiences and not just shut down and shut off and give up, which seems easier to do. But having less access to each other means we need to try harder to build meaningful relationships with people abroad and expand your network. It's only going to do you guys favors. And like I said, maybe you're tired of seeing the same 20 people and the same 3 professors, and you can take a class with the Globe or something, even if it's online. So, and maybe even for spring, we could talk to the Globe and see if you guys would be interested just in one class or something that was offered with the Globe for the spring semester.
And it could also be that I need to look at the Globe a little bit more carefully in terms of what they're offering, but they might be able to do courses that you could enroll in as individuals instead of as a group. So we don't really know what all the options will be in terms of the virtual opportunities. But I think that I think Daniel would love to teach this group again. He loves the Millikan students.
Yeah.
So that's an option as well.
So that's our update there. And does anyone else want to add anything before we go?
Is that you raising your hand, Audrey? No. Okay. I'm going to say, please email either Brianna or me with additional thoughts or questions that you have, so we can start to get a feel for what you're really looking for and how we can start to plan as much as we can plan given the circumstances. And